Hello, I'm Matthew Washington, founder of the Bright Futures community. Thank you for visiting my page. I wanted to just take a few moments to let you know who I am and why I started Bright Futures. I am a Rutgers University graduate. I graduated with a degree in philosophy and economics. I also walked on to the Rutgers football team as a freshman. By my junior year, I had earned a full scholarship and became a letter winner for the team. While I was at school on my summer break, I began my sales career at 20 years old. I started working for a company called Vector Marketing, doing in-home Cutco sales, basically selling knives. After 2 years of selling around my college classes and the summer, I graduated and was promoted to a district manager and came back home to Long Island. Over the next 15 years, I found my passion for training and educating young people. I love seeing raw potential turn into real world success. I mentored over 1,500 college students with vector marketing, and I was very proud of my office many times being in the top 10% of the company in productivity per rep, which means my reps made a lot more money than most other representatives. I was very proud to promote 7 college students to full-time branch managers. I had many accolades while I was working there. I trained the Cutco Fast Start national record breaker, who achieved $28,000 in sales of knives in her first 10 days. Hi, Michelle, wherever you are nowadays. And I had developed Stony Brook University's valedictorian and helped him run the #1 branch office in the whole Northeast region while on his summer break. And also, hey, Jonathan, I hope life's treating you well out in Cali. He's a doctor now. The thing was, I was very successful in running an office and working with students, but I found out really abruptly that I knew nothing about managing money or investing. And my understanding of money was you work hard to get it and then you spend it. Seemed pretty simple to me. I was a very hard worker. At one point, I rented an office because it had a shower in it. And so I said, well, if I could just live in my office, I lived in my office for 6 months. I said, how much more productivity could I get? How much more work could I get done? With all that hard work, I made what I would consider a lot of money. But the thing was, I was spending the money as fast as I made it. I remember one year sitting with my accountant and being told that I had made over $280,000 that year, which would equate to about $465,000 in today's dollars. And I was sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, I don't even know how I'm going to pay my rent this month. I don't know how I'm going to pay the accountant. I have no money in my bank account. But he's telling me I made $280,000. My only solution at that time was just do more work, just work harder. But I was already working all the time and something was wrong. So finally in 2011, I closed my office and I went on a mission to figure out what was wrong. What was I missing? I had a degree in economics. I had made all this money before 30 years old, but I had nothing to show for it. When teaching sales and presentation skills to my students, I had always said to them, don't try to reinvent the wheel. Just do what the successful people do. Once you master those skills, then you can do your own thing. So I said, maybe I should take my own advice and start reading what rich people do. What is it that I'm missing? So I took my own advice and I started reading. The first book I read was The Richest Man in Babylon. It was a little tiny book. I highly suggest that book. If there's any book that you ever read about investing, read that one. I read that book and then I read it again and then I read it again. And I was like, this is so simple. How did I not understand this? I said, let me go read books about millionaires, right? So I did. I got The 1 Minute Millionaire and I went and bought The Millionaire Course and The Secrets of a Millionaire Mind by T.R. Becker. This is a great one. I actually went to a seminar about that. And I started reading all this stuff. And then I said, okay, well, maybe I need to invest in real estate. I got this book by Robert G. Allen, Creating Wealth, and he was all about real estate investing. And then I was like, maybe stock market. That's what I got to do. I got to get invested in the stock market. So what did I go get? I got Investing for Dummies, right? I was like, let me do that. And I read Trade Your Way to Financial Freedom. Read this book front to back. Teach Yourself Investing. I did all these things. I read all these books multiple times. I did the formulas, did the coursework, and I was literally learning how to do it. But then a friend of mine gave me a book, which I consider like the holy grail, and it was called Rich Dad Poor Dad. What I learned from that book is that it wasn't about the mechanics of how to make money. It didn't matter. There's millions of ways to make money. But what did matter is your mindset about money and the systems that you put in place. It wasn't about trying to get rich, it was about building wealth. And I learned the goal was not to make a high income, which is what I always thought it was. The goal is to build a portfolio so that your money will work for you. The knowledge that I gained, I wish I had when I was in my 20s. I feel like I was like, wow, after I read all this and I learned all this stuff, it took me years to do. I was like, man, if I would have known this before I made all this money, I would have been in a great spot. But this is the reason I'm starting Bright Futures. I see the incoming destruction of jobs that will disappear from AI, robotics, and the path that existed 20, 30 years ago about just go to school, get a degree, find a high paying job with benefits. That path simply will not work for most people in this new world that we're entering. Now, I'm not saying you should quit school and don't get a job. What I'm saying is students need additional knowledge. What we currently teach students is to leverage their time and their labor to make money. And that's what we call get a job or get a career. What we don't teach students is how to leverage money to make money. The time and labor a person has is limited. The amount of money someone can obtain is unlimited. So by learning to leverage money, that is how we create a bright future for everyone. Learning how to build wealth and create abundance using money instead of using our most valuable asset, which is our time and our energy. But anyway, that's who I am. And the mission of Bright Futures is to help as many people learn and implement a plan that will bear them fruits and a future that they want to see for themselves. If this idea resonates with you, you've come to the right place, join our community. And I can't wait to meet you and see you be successful as well.